So speaking of cool shit, Sora, there's like a million questions I could ask. First of all, it's amazing level, but also just on a philosophical level. So let me just technical/philosophical ask, what do you think it understands about the world more or less than GPT-4, for example? Like the world model, when you train on these patches versus language tokens.
I think all of these models understand something more about the world model than most of us give them credit for. And because they're also very clear things they just don't understand or don't get right, it's easy to like look at the weaknesses, see through the veil and say, this is all fake. But it's not all fake. It's just some of it works and some of it doesn't work. Like I remember when I started first watching Sora videos and I would see like a person walk in front of something for a few seconds and occlude it and then walk away and the same thing was still there. I was like, this is pretty good. Or there's examples where like the underlying physics looks so well represented over a lot of steps in a sequence. It's like, this is like quite impressive. But like fundamentally, these models are just getting better and that will keep happening. If you look at the trajectory from DALL-E 1 to 2 to 3 to Sora, there were a lot of people that were dunked on each version saying it can't do this, it can't do that. And like, look at it now.
So, well, the thing you just mentioned is kind of with occlusions is basically modeling the physics, the three-dimensional physics of the world sufficiently well to capture those kinds of things.
Well,
maybe you can tell me, in order to deal with occlusions, what does the world model need to?
Yeah, so what I would say is it's doing something to deal with occlusions really well. Would I represent that it has like a great underlying 3D model of the world? It's a little bit more of a stretch.
But can you get there through just these kinds of two-dimensional training data approaches?
It looks like this approach is going to go surprisingly far. I don't want to speculate too much about what limits it will surmount and which it won't, but
what are some interesting limitations of the system that you've seen? I mean, there's been some fun ones you've posted.
There's all kinds of ones. I mean, like, cats sprouting an extra limb at random points in a video. Pick what you want, but there's still a lot of problems, still a lot of weaknesses.
Do you think that's a fundamental flaw of the approach? Or is it just, bigger model or better, like technical details or better data, more data is going to solve those the cat sprouting extra
I would say yes to both. Like, I think there is something about the approach which just seems to feel different from how we think and learn and whatever. And then also, I think it'll get better with scale.
Like I mentioned, LLMs have tokens, text tokens, and Sora has visual patches. So it converts all visual data, diverse kinds of visual data, videos and images into patches. Is the training to the degree you can say fully self-supervised, or is there some manual labeling going on? Like, what's the involvement of humans in all this?
I mean, without saying anything specific about the Sora approach, we use lots of human data in our work.
But not internet scale data. So lots of humans. Lots is a complicated word, Sam.
I think lots is a fair word in this case.